Mr. Chairman, may I suggest that at our next meeting, you invite one of the senior officials from the Department of Justice to come before this committee to explain why the Department of Justice is not defending our U.S. Marshals?
Senator, of course I want that question answered. Asking for a hearing before the committee at this point may be premature. There has been a response, I believe. I think Senator...
Well, we know if we send a letter to the Department of Justice, we don't get responses, at least
No, I think he did. I think he's already received it.
So I'll say I did get a response. After 10 days, as Senator Grassley said, it was mostly just a bunch of legal gobbledygook. It gave no answer on the merits about why one U.S. Marshal has already had his representation denied outright, while 3 are still being strung along. I can say that all the parties involved here have heard about the one is that it's not in the interest of the United States to provide representation. Let me say that I'm not going to take that as a satisfactory answer coming from Vanita Gupta's Civil Division.
Hey folks, welcome back to Hot News Today. If you care about law enforcement and government accountability, stick around. We're breaking down a fiery moment where Senator John Kennedy called out the Department of Justice. It's about standing by those on the front lines.
I'd like to quote from the letter that was sent to Senator Cotton. I'm looking for the date on that letter. I think it's been within the last week or two. I don't see a date on the letter.
It was yesterday.
Senator received a response yesterday. Let me read from it so that we understand what we're talking about here. The Department of Justice strongly supports the provision of representation for federal officers acting in the line of duty. The department has received numerous representation requests in connection with official law enforcement conduct relating to the Portland protest. We are providing direct representation or paying for private counsel for over 70 federal employees in response to these requests. To date, we have denied only a single request for representation arising from these events, and 3 requests remain under review. Now, that is not gobbledygook. That is a series of declarative sentences that I think make it clear.
Let me walk you through what happened. Senator John Kennedy didn't mince words. He suggested inviting a senior DOJ official to explain why U.S. Marshals are denied legal defense. Officers were assaulted during the Portland riots. Imagine risking your life and being told, sorry, no defense in court. That's what Kennedy and others are furious about. So, what has the DOJ said? After nearly 2 years, only 1 marshal has been denied representation. Senator Cotton pointed out the double standard. It took DOJ 3 months to clear the officer in the Ashley Babbitt shooting, but these marshals? Still waiting. When the DOJ finally responded to a letter, it was filled with vague legal jargon. As Kennedy put it, gobbledygook.
3 cases are being evaluated. 1 they have denied. And for that, we're going to hold up the U.S. Marshal for the Northern
Yeah, we are. We're going to
District.
hold up every department nominee.
Well,
we are.
I can just
Because I don't
tell you,
care. I'm
don't
glad
give
they're
it-
representing the 70. I care about the 4.
Don't give a speech about law enforcement in Northern District and any violent crime if you're holding up the law enforcement officials that are going to be given the responsibility of taking care of that issue. I could share your concerns about wanting to know what they're going to do with the 3 and why the 1 was denied. That is a legitimate concern. But to take it out on law enforcement in Illinois, for goodness sakes, or other states, Minnesota, does that show respect for law enforcement?
Mr. Chairman,
Senator Kennedy.
not to put too fine a point on it, but may I suggest that we invite the author of that letter to come to our next Judiciary Committee meeting and explain this situation?
The author is Peter Hyen, Acting Assistant Attorney General. I do not know him. I think it is appropriate to ask that he or someone he represents come before us. I don't think it has to be a formal committee meeting. Let's find out where we stand on the 4 that Senator Cotton has a question on.
Here's where it gets murky. The letter denying 1 marshal's defense was signed by Peter Hyen, but Senator Cotton pushed back. He's just the messenger. The real decision likely came from Vanita Gupta, and Kennedy wasn't having it. He pressed the chairman, asking, why can't we just bring the right person into the room?
Well, I would look. You're the chairman. You can decline my request, but this concerns me, and I just found out that one of those U.S. Marshals may be in Louisiana, and I think it would behoove all of us to hear together so we could all ask questions from the gentleman whose name I've already forgotten, but
Mr. Hine.
Mr. Hine, Justice is right across the street. Just ask him to come on over and let's hear directly.
So I would say that Peter Hine is not the right person here. He's merely the acting assistant attorney
Okay.
general for legislative affairs. He's just transmitting a substantive decision that's been made, presumably by Vanita Gupta as the associate attorney general, since he oversees the civil division, which represents law enforcement officers for lawsuits in the line of duty. Again, these officers have been hung out to dry. They have no reason. The one who's been denied has been given no factual reason why he was denied representation.
Well, could we
merely that
ask-
it was in the interest of the United States.
Who asked Ms.
I'm
not
I'd
wedded.
love to ask her.
I don't know who the appropriate person is. So let me amend my suggestion to bring the appropriate person to our next Judiciary Committee meeting to answer these questions.
Here's why this matters. These marshals are still on active duty, no suspensions, no disciplinary actions. If DOJ believes they did something wrong, why are they still out there risking their lives? If they didn't, why hang them out to dry? Nominees to key law enforcement positions are being held up in protest. The DOJ's silence is fueling mistrust. Kennedy made it clear, if we don't get answers soon, it's time to call the top brass to testify. If you believe in holding our institutions accountable, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We cover stories like this that the mainstream often overlooks. This isn't just a debate in Washington, this is about whether the government will stand by the men and women who stand by us. Senator Kennedy isn't backing down, and neither should we. The Judiciary Committee and the American public deserve straight answers. Because justice delayed is justice denied. Thanks for watching. Drop a comment below. Do you think the DOJ is dodging responsibility? And what should happen next? I want to hear your thoughts. Until next time, stay informed and stay engaged. See you in the next one.